I just started. I had 3 people watching, 2 thumbs up. 5 seconds in. Is that? Are they real numbers? Let me know if I'm 5 by 5. Absolutely amazing. I'm 29 seconds in, and yeah. Hey, Darlene. Blessings to all. Why does FEMA have 25 gallons of hydrogen? I really want to know that. What's up, guys? I'm gonna read you something. I oh, I didn't know about that, Darlene. I gotta look into that. So, Warren Buffett, folks. Fan of him, not fan of him. Um, I was always taught that, and this carried on with me in my adult life. I could, especially because I'm a lot older than my younger sibling. So, make a long story short, I could tell pretty much your future by who you hang out, by your friends. So, if you hang around with losers, you're going to be a loser. Sorry, guys. It's raining. So, growing up, I had a friend who was very successful, and his father was a broker. So I learned as far as business wise, I definitely learned a lot off him. Until this day, I try to watch like what the, not so much elites do, but um, if they're in the country, if they're out of the country. Believe it or not, a lot of Western millionaires and billionaires, they've been moving east. Um, Newt Gingrich, he's one of the most recent ones. But listen to this. This is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett believes a major catastrophe is just around the corner. When famous financier Warren Buffett gives his view on future trends and how they will impact the world economy, people listen. Which his latest message raised serious alarm. This was a few days ago. Billionaire investor Warren Buffett is famed for his seeming sixth sense when it comes to the stock market, but business has been flat lately, and he's becoming increasingly concerned about a looming catastrophe that could shake civilization itself. Buffett released his annual letter to Berkshire Hathaway Inc. shareholders over the weekend. The letter is always well read in the business world because of his remarkable track record, his habit of discussing the economy and other topics, and his talent for explaining complicated subjects in plain language. So, why is he saying this, right? The very first one, possible, again, obviously, even if he was privy to something, he's not going to say on February 15th, the sky's going to fall, obviously. So, but that being said, obviously he doesn't give a date, but this is still something to definitely good to know and to be prepared for anything. The very first one is cyber attack, which is why so many people have set up and paid attention to his warning of a pending, quote, mega catastrophe, unquote. Sorry, guys. Not only will it shake global markets to the core, he believes it will stress society to the breaking point. and we've heard something like this before from the DoD. He Buffett, he lists there's a few different things, but again, the first thing is cyber attack, because it's so easy, and it doesn't, most likely it will not be a superpower. Over the weekend, Trump met with Kim. Nothing was signed. That's sometimes part of business, obviously. That doesn't mean that, back to World War III rumors and shooting missiles. Possibly something might be signed later down the road. But, I mean, anyone, look it up yourself, how easy it is to hack anything. All cars now have pretty much have Bluetooth. If they have Bluetooth, guys, they could be hacked. How about the Amazon plane that just went down? I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I've been looking into it, because it's very rare for planes to crash, period, let alone American planes. Again, this is pure speculation. We'll make that clear. This is pure speculation, but coming from numerous sources. That apparently that plane had some hardware on it for Venezuela. Again, pure speculation. You could look it up for yourself. It's not concrete evidence, and again, I don't know 100%, but that's coming from numerous sources. So let's back to Buffett. He says a major catastrophe that will dwarf Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Michael. Dwarf Hurricane Katrina. That alone is pretty. Again, guys, I don't make money off YouTube. So even if I did, I'm not a fear porn type of guy. And I know this is my backup channel, but on my main channel, again, I'm not a fear porn type of guy. I'm a simple man and right to the point. If I know something, I tell you. If it's speculation, I'll tell you. $1,750. What's up, Matt? Thank you, Matt. A lot of planes. Well, planes, Cessnas. If it's a windy day, they could get blown around. They're as big as a car. But I'm talking about a commercial airliner. It's super rare. The last time somebody died on a commercial airliner was, I believe 2013 it was. Don't quote me on that. But piece of the engine broke. And remember, it punctured the window. And if the woman was not wearing her seatbelt, she would have got sucked out the window. It's graphic, but she had her seatbelt on. She was, and that's another thing. She worked for a bank. She was high up there at a bank. Again, foul play, I doubt it. But yeah, that broke her neck instantly. So yeah, so that was 2013, but I can't recall the last time off the top of my head, a commercial airliner went down. And again, this is my backup channel, so I'm sure I have a lot of sky phenomena and people, and then I see some of my regular crew here. But I did Intel. I worked in Intel, so I was privy to a lot of different security tactics that Big Brother that they use on the population. And And if you go to my Patreon page, it's free. You can watch a video. Vice News actually came up and they did a story where I used to work. But I know we're jumping topics here, but I just remembered. Remember the ghost cities guys in China? I've been receiving a few. We're actually probably speaking about that a few days ago. But the ghost cities in China, they're smart cities. They're all smart cities. Where's this other thing? So now let's talk NASA. So NASA, folks. Julia, hey, C-Russ. Damn, no notifications. C-Russ, as soon as I started my video, there were 3 people here and I already had thumbs up 5 seconds into my video. First time that ever happened. YouTube is whacked. Darlene says America is not up to anything good in Venezuela. But again, guys, it's no rush, Darlene. Like I said in previous videos, this is just my opinion from experience. It's no rush. But that being said, having President number 2 next door, waiting to get, I guess, sworn, not what, waiting to go to his country, Juan Guaido, since it has been signed, folks, it's been signed by America and 50 other countries have recognized Juan Guaido. So that being said, it's not like the old times. You know, we tried to do coups in Venezuela before, but this is the first time that we ever took it to this level. So again, it's no rush on America's and America's allies to get him out. Obviously, they want him out as soon as possible, but it's, again, there's no hostages. That's why, what was it, last weekend when they had the concert? What did we predict? I did 4 videos that day on Venezuela. I said, watch out for a FF. Thank God nothing happened at the concert, but there were FFs that day. Even Ron Paul, he did multiple stories headlining who's responsible for the FFs. And we called it the day before, unfortunately. No cake for YouTube CEO, Susan. Susan Ski sounds good for me. Venezuela people do not recognize him as the president. Correct, Arlene, 100%. I agree. Late last night, again, this is pure speculation, but apparently India, from numerous accounts, I'm talking about 20 different Twitter accounts, and some are high-ranking military officials in Pakistan and India. But apparently last night that they were going at it, but nothing from the fake stream, or I didn't see any footage, so. But that's just speculation. It's hard. I mean, look at the news here. That's what I always say. It's hard enough to find true facts here in the States, let alone somewhere else. So, kind of like when you're doing an investigation, if you're investigating somebody, you go with what you have. I like to use 9/11 because it's been enough, and it's not. I'm not talking about a school to stir up stuff, but the first thing with 9/11, I start with building number 7. If building number 7 was in any other city than New York, not right next to one of the tallest buildings in the world, or the 2 tallest buildings, the World Trade Centers, Tower 1 and 2, it would most likely be the tallest building in your city. We're not talking about a little hotel, and to drop that free fall speed. That we know for a fact from professionals, and then you could start going out. But I always start with building number 7. Again, I don't know who did it till this day. I could put a list of names together, obviously. Who was president, who was the CIA chief. My doctor's from India. I used to have a doctor from India. A lot of doctors. It says Pakistan is breaking the long time border agreements in Kashmir. Interesting you said that, because Pakistan has, their ally is the Chinese. Where since Trump is president in the States, we're allies with India. So a lot of countries are, they feel bold, such as Ukraine, for instance, or not, excuse me, Ukraine. You remember Russia took over Crimea? The president never declared martial law, right? Now we have Trump as president, and then about a month and a half ago, they had a little clash, and Russia actually captured a few seamen, and all of a sudden, excuse me, I don't know his name, but the president of Ukraine called for martial law, and he was all about it, but he wasn't all about it when they took over Crimea prior to POTUS or just Trump being president. And it says Fox and Friends talked about it a tiny bit this morning. Really interesting. Darlene, the mainstream media control what we know according to what the movie They Live, folks. I was young. I was young when I don't, who knows, I might not have been born yet. It was The Matrix. The Matrix came out in 1999, I believe. The movie They Live came out in the early 80s, I believe. But for people like us who are awake, I guarantee, watch that movie. Watch that movie. Again, this was from the 80s. It was like the Matrix of the 80s. How are you, sir, Mr. Berger? See Russ. Yeah, when he mentioned the borders in Kashmir, it kind of blew my mind because of the border crisis here. Speaking of the border crisis, I haven't seen anything. No reporters in fake stream. They're not reporting like they were. There's a handful of reporters that were walking. Fox was one of them. They were walking with the caravan. Nothing. Silence. I find that very, very, very odd. Road Trip Eddie. What's up, brother? Provoked. What's up, dude? Saudi Arabia wanted Saddam Hussein out and are leading administrators of the military and industrial complex on the one plot of the military. 100%, brother. Just like North Korea. Just like North Korea. Again, some people are very good at public speaking. I'm not a fan, obviously, of President Obama. Not just because the party, because I'm awake now. I can't stand any of the Bushes. Back then, before I was awake, I was on the bushwagon. But once I became informed, and it's disgusting. But the thing about Obama was he infiltrated our government. That's a big difference from having a candidate that you don't like. He infiltrated our government, and it's a known fact. You guys could look it up. You guys probably know about it. Electing John O'Brien. Green New Deal. Got to remove the farting cows. Jeremy says, my son is at California border and says they're coming across the border like fleas on a dog. Your son, God bless your son and God bless you. Yuma, Arizona, folks. That's where a lot of them were coming across. And I said this in a couple of my videos. I believe they broke the record with having over 300 individuals. But these were, I think out of the 300, we might have had 20 children. That's on my main channel, that video. But just imagine, again, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are coming. Thousands. Over 10,000 people. So just imagine, I always lowball it, so I'm not exaggerating. Just say 1,000 men came across, and rather than go to the Border Patrol, because that's what they do. And the way the law is till this day, folks, you just have to touch U.S. soil, and once you touch U.S. soil, you know, you get booked. You can't push, you can't just push them across, unfortunately. There should be like a buffer zone, just like Pakistan and India, just like North Korea and South Korea. We need a buffer zone. Need a flea collar for that dog. Sparky Newman. Dems want Arizona to become a blue state, so they want 100% Sparky. I was surprised too in the most recent poll how blue Texas. Of course, it was like Western Texas, closest to the border. But what's his name? He lost, but now he's running for president. On live television, he got interviewed. Warwick, I believe his name is. You guys could correct me. On live television, he mentioning about knocking down the little bit of wall that we do have. How about CNN calling Cohen a liar, criticizing? I did not see that. See, Russ? Yeah, Beto. Thank you, Mary. O'Rourke. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, O'Rourke was on live television, and he mentioned that the little bit of wall that we do have, he would tear down. They're so desperate. The budget deal Trump just signed makes it next to impossible to deport illegals, provide hundreds of millions of dollars to deport them. The part that I can't stand is, like, there's tons of people on the streets. You go to Philadelphia, I mean, all across the nation. A lot of them are vets. You have some people who are, mental illness, most of them are, that live on the street. And then you have some people, very few people, who just had a pretty rough route. But most of the people that are on the street, they're 96, they're mental. So you could come into this country, get free health insurance, you could drive. Ridiculous. Beto was a dork. He would. I'm kind of looking forward to these debates. I'm gonna have my popcorn, and it's gonna be fun. We have what, Cortez? The more Cortez opens her mouth, the higher the independents, the Republicans who haven't voted in years and years, they're coming out. Black people, for some reason, well, not for some reason, I guess because of Trump's doing a good job, but with the black vote, blacks, because here, guys, I worked in the ghetto, so, and again, I'm not saying all blacks, I'm not saying all Hispanics. I'm part Hispanic. But in the ghetto, as far as like turf wars out in California, the Mexicans are actually chasing the blacks out of certain parts. So, and Trump's doing a good job, you know, with all minorities. So, but I'm really surprised how many blacks are for Trump now. What else I want to show you? So with NASA, folks, where do you think all that money's going to? Over $50 million a day. Like to black, obviously, you know, NASA's for us, for the sheep. And then there's a secret space program. It's not so secret anymore, but there is one. So with over a $50 million a day budget, we don't have anything. Elon Musk sent the Israelis to the moon. Like, what's up with that? In 50 years? I know. The thing is, guys, it's a psyop. They want everyone, the whole thing with, again, I don't care what you are, gay, LBGTQ, BSTR, whatever, how many letters there are. But once they start pushing everybody to be the same, you know, like there was like this huge, like my sister, for instance, she doesn't have any kids. She always wanted kids, but she went to school. She has a nice degree, but you know, she's not using it now. Now she's with she's been with somebody, and she's most likely going to be having kids soon. But is it worth all that money if you're not going to use it? Life is short, folks. If you know what you want to do in life, listen, go to college. But if you're undecided, Mr. Berger, Iran creeping in, going in lots of things. I agree, Bob. I agree. It seems like the fire's lit, and there's like a huge gasoline tank, and one move by one of these countries or by somebody can spark something huge. I agree 100% with that, Bob. Provoked 6% of the population identify as transgender, but 99.4% of us are forced to obey their religions. 100%, brother. 100%. 100%. I just read an article this morning. Was it this? Yeah, this morning. There are two transgenders, black. There are two transgender black juveniles. One has dreadlocks. He's huge, and he just raced and broke all these records on the female track team. And that's how society is. Today I could be Andrew. Tomorrow I could be Susie. And that's disgusting. I identify as a transgender purple T-Rex dinosaur. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like tomorrow, if I'm having a bad day, I could be like, hey, call me Susie. Thousands of 50. Wish I went to trade school. Yeah, they don't push trade school. They don't. They don't push. Especially you, 1750. Be working on bikes for a living. There's three things. There's a job, there's a career, and then your passion. Most people in life, they have jobs. I'm going to be Jewish lady when I get... Darlene, hey, I have a medical degree. They don't come cheap, but not practicing now. Big Pharma. Yeah, I read something about Trump's cracking down on the opiate crisis, and Big Pharma's been in the news a lot recently. How about, well, I think it was like 1999, the CEO of OxyContin, he had to add a commercial saying that it's non-addictive. Look where we are now. And listen, payment. I don't judge anybody. You know, if you have a, you know, if you need it, that's fine. But I'll be the first person. You know, there are doctors out there that write scripts all day. They overprescribe. Ciros, check out Jericho Green on YouTube. He's a black conservative and he will crack you up. Jericho Green. Never heard of him. I follow Brandon Tatum. Brandon Tatum, and he's a black conservative. He was a Tucson, Arizona police officer, and then he quit. Now he's a spokesperson. No, the garbage with the Planned Parenthood too. That stuff runs deep. I only trust doctor. And guys, like, part of becoming awake, the first question people who are not awake, they always say, oh, do you think everybody at NASA knows that the Earth is flat? No. Do you think all doctors are bad? Not at all. But I do know this. That doctors get a percentage the more scripts they write. Just like when you go to a CVS, a Rite Aid, and when they're begging, no insurance needed, get your flu shots. Why do you think that is? Because they just like putting something in your arm? It's money, folks. I'm not saying all doctors. I had a talk yesterday with March 1st was my mother's anniversary of her passing, and I had a nice chat with my father. We were talking about doctors, and you know, there's some really good, kind, you know, passionate doctors out there, just like with every profession. But money. I'll check out Jericho Green. B. Tatum sent me to Jericho Green. There's a black conservative. He wears glasses. I see him a lot. I don't know his name. He has a Blue Lives Matter flag, an American flag behind him. I don't know if that's Jericho, but he's a black conservative. The opioid epidemic really began whenever George Bush liberated the poppy fields of Afghanistan. Correct. I can't imagine, guys. Like, there were pill mills in Florida. Pill mills in the early 2000s where anyone could go to Florida, go to a pain management doctor. You don't have to show any credentials, no MRIs, nothing. Not only do you get pain medication, but they give it to you on the spot, so you don't even have to go to a pharmacy. Then you leave that one, you go to the one across the street. You do that like 5 different times, and then drive back to your state, and you're making $150,000 a year. Now there's a data system. Vaccines are poison. There's numerous channels, Darlene, that there's this one woman. She was a school teacher. She's a black woman, and she talks about vaccines a lot. And they took down two of her friends, and then she was live last night, and she said that she's most likely going to be taken down because of her stance with vaccines. I'm sorry, I missed it. I appreciate your perspective on this. I've been hearing about it from other sources as well. I'm expecting on EBA, Trump Brown, Spring Equinox, 996. What do you guys, to end it, what do you guys, predictions for the future, meaning, I don't know, 6 months to the next, between 6 months and 2 years in the future, what do you guys see? War with any certain country? Sorry. Look up Jack McLean. Jack died 2016. Never heard of him. I will look him up. Mary Robertson. We're getting ready to have a major earthquake. Yeah. Speaking of earth, yeah, they put out a report on about Yellowstone. 2018 had the most activity in, I think, recent history. All the fires. As far as ending the chat, I just wanted to, since we're talking about like current events, I wanted to hear you guys, like, in the next six months, year, 2 years, do you see, war? You think North Korea will eventually come around? Do you think Pakistan and India will pop it off? Do you think the U.S. going to get U.S. with Venezuela? I don't know. Just since we're talking about current events, figured to end it with that. See, Russ. Q even said one party may not even exist by the end of everything. See, Russ. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. In 2019, folks, the Democratic... It's so weird because back in the day, like, if you were a Republican or conservative, you were considered like the warmongers. Now, I guess, I consider myself a conservative. but again, I'm not like a Sean Hannity conservative, but I'm more on the conservative side. Democrats, they're radicals, and they're radicals. New York, New York, and they're I'll give them this, folks. I'll give them this. They have a agenda, and they're doing it. They did more in Republicans at the House and the Senate for 2 years. Nothing major was passed, or the Democrats. It's one thing after another. New York, as far as giving abortions to a healthy baby. I mean, to even more gun laws in New York. It's just one thing after another. World peace. Sounds good. NWO. Speaking of Israel, nope. Surprised nobody mentioned this in the chat. I just popped in my head when I saw Israel. What's the deal with Benjamin Netanyahu? He's gonna. He got jammed up or something. He could be doing some time apparently. Benjamin. Too many nations in the middle of a conflict. Global warfare seems to be. I know that about a week ago, Russia announced that they where they would hit if they were to nuke America. Maryland was. I'm on the East Coast. Obviously, that's where you want to be. You don't want to be anywhere where there's fallout. If you get hit with that, you want to be you want to get hit directly. But Russia, guys, they have some weapons that they're like sleeper cells. They just hunker down right on the coast in international waters, and you could wake them bad boys up, and there could be a tidal wave, huge tidal wave. I'm talking like 100 miles inland. Insane. The party is imploding 100%. That's why I said Democrats, or excuse me, Republicans, they could sit back, have some popcorn. So many Democrats are for this Green Deal. The Green Deal, nobody read it. Every single building needs to be rebuilt. Farting cows. Demons surrounding us on all sides. Dark versus light. Darlene. AOC threatening her own party. But 750. Nobody's mentioning any, like, on her side. If I know for a fact, if a Republican had a freshman acting like her, we'd be like, yo, sit down, stay in your lane. Meanwhile, she could say whatever. She's like the Trump of the Democratic Party or the Socialist Party. I made a video, see Russ, on my main channel, talking about because a lot of people were talking about, do I see civil war coming up in the future in America? And at that time, I said no. I just mentioned that it's going to be more segregated. Americans, true Americans, patriots, are going to go to the red states, and New York, New Jersey, California, they're just going to be blue until they become socialist. And again, it's going to be patriots. There's people of the Constitution, and you're going to have socialist states. And that's where I see the country going, and it is now. People from Jersey, we're leaving at record numbers. They're moving to Tennessee, Florida, then the West Coast, Cali. They're going to Utah in record numbers, and Texas. And New York bullshit won't work here. It's insane. It is absolutely insane, the New York. Again, guys, I don't have any kids. The thing that irks me the most, anybody who can't stand up for themselves. Meaning like a woman, a child, even a man. I stand up for anybody, but like innocent children or women, that really bugs me. And how they were clapping. They're all about that bill. It's all money. It's all Galvin McGinnis. He broke it down. It's very disturbing when you hear about the prices. The prices of these. You get more money, obviously, if the older the baby is. It's disgusting. But he broke it all down by numbers. 2 young people a day moved to the city of Nashville alone. Everyone listening, I mean, I'm not happy with my state, and I'm looking to get out. Everyone here, you guys pretty much happy with your state? And it's hard to leave for a lot of people. Again, when you have kids, a career, or a job, you can't. I'm red stuck in a blue state. Same, roger that, Darlene. My state's blue, and I have a Trump flag outside of my house, and you would think I'm breaking the law, but I get so many compliments. If I'm outside, people pull over, give me like a thumbs up. It's insane, and it's sad that to be a Trump supporter, it's considered it's like taboo. The whole thing with MAGA hats and everything, disgusting. I'm not happy I live in New York. It's a New York. It's a shame because New York State has as far as property wise, New York State is, beautiful, but too blue. I will seriously suggest you watch Social Little Flummies. I know, Mary. Wait, I know, Mary. Some people say America is socialist with is that what you're getting at, Mary? Super red in Nashville, man. That Tennessee is probably one of the states on my list. I'm looking for a job, actually. I'm retired. Many of you probably know, but I had a career-ending injury in my career. It wasn't a job, it was a career. And I did not have 5 years in, and so I do not receive a pension. You have to have in the state of Jersey, you have to have 5 years in to receive a pension. If I was in Ohio, you sign that line, you trip walking down the steps, you get a partial pension for the rest of your life. And in Jersey, I had 3 years in, and that sucks. Sucks for a lot of reasons. Sucks because I don't receive anything, and 2, it sucks because I'm pretty jammed up as far as health-wise with having rods and pins in me. We can create a MAGA stronghold in Tennessee. It's so funny. They're doing a rally in the UK. A lot of people from this. Not I don't know. I don't know the number, but I just hear people from the States. They're going to go show support for Tommy Robertson. The only platform that he has left is YouTube. He's banned permanently on every other platform, including PayPal and Patreon. And he was making, you know, they ruined his life. You know, he did jail time numerous times. He has to watch where he goes. He has to have security. But I mean, he's a badass. But again, and anyone could get whacked. You know. Pom Pom. It's also on YouTube. Look it up. And a good question. This is, I'm not going to give you guys my age, but you guys might know. I've never been in this predicament. I've never been jammed up like this in my life. I started working when I was 8 years old for my grandfather. He had a very small masonry business. From the age of 8, I worked my whole entire life. I worked in high school. I worked in college. So, again, I've never been in this. I've always had a job. So what type of work am I looking for? I mean, anything in the... I was a private investigator. I did multiple security jobs. Intel, I worked at the Real-Time Tactical Operations Intelligence Center. But now with having a platform like this, I wouldn't mind if somebody like Breitbart or somebody was looking for like a field reporter or something, like to go ask questions. I would love to do that. So I'm open. I'm flexible, but and it's tough too at like my age, because I mean, I could go back to doing some PI work, I guess, but thank you, Pom Pom, Mary, Anna, C. Russ. We'll have all. C. Russ, do you have to register in Tennessee? I know they do a NICS, they do a NICS check, but do they register with James O'Keefe announced he's looking for investigators? Really? Yeah, I would love that. I mean, as far as experience wise, I only did it once on my when the whole Kavanaugh hearing was going down. I went over to Philadelphia and I interviewed. I spent the whole day over there doing interviews, but I would love to do something like that. And again, I'm flexible without having children, so it could be New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware area, anywhere. So if you guys hear something, please let me know. That being said, folks, I am out of here. It's raining now. We're supposed to get like 3 inches of snow tonight. Appreciate the chat as always, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks, guys. I'm also gonna search the few names that you guys left. Appreciate it. Thank you, Anna. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much, Anna. All right, Patriots, have a great day.